Hello, 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 hello. Hello, everyone. How are you? Oh, my glasses sometimes can be pretty annoying. How you doing? How you doing? Come on in, come on in, come on in. This is Elkie of Savvy Moms Delight. Hi, Ashley. How are you? Hi, Pooh Bear. How are you? Come on in, come on in. So, all right, everybody, come on in, come on in. This is Savvy Mom Elkie. I'm Savvy Moms Unite, where I teach moms how to live a simple, practical, realistic life. Now, this topic came up for me, and I was like, I got to jump on Periscope because it is one that I've been debating back and forth in my head as to what I want to do. So, I'm an educator. I've worked in schools for many years. I have an advanced degree in education. I have a master's in education. Actually ended up going to a local state university to get my master's degree. But I went for undergrad to a small liberal arts college in Ohio. And that, at the time, was a pretty expensive school. But had it been if I hadn't gotten a good bit in scholarship money, I probably wouldn't have gone because my family could not afford it. So at the time, name, and still today, name recognition with college and the amount you spend on your college education almost seems incredibly synonymous with prestige. So if I spend thousands of dollars on my degree, then that suddenly means my degree matters more than someone who spent $12,000 on their degree. And I'm here to tell you, as an educator, as someone who has an advanced degree, it doesn't matter. I'm saying this to you because you will have killed yourself to send your kid to an expensive school and not only left yourself in debt, but also your child. Because let's face it, that debt goes to your kid. It doesn't go to you. Because yes, if your kid falls short on the loan, you have to pay it. But in terms of later on, that debt falls on your kid. I remember in undergrad, when we were our senior year, we're about to sign our loan paperwork. And at the time, I only had, I think it was 17,000 or no, 20, it was 20 something thousand total for the 4 years I had in student loans. And I'm really stressed about it because at the time for me and my family, that was a ton of money. 20 something $1,000 is a lot of money. And so I'm sitting there stressed, oh my God, I have to pay this in 6 months. I have to start paying this. I don't even have a job. And I'm sitting next to a classmate of mine and she has over 100 something thousand in loans. So first perspective, I'm like, damn, okay, I'm not as bad as she is. But the other part is what the hell? 100 something thousand in student loans? Why? Why does someone have to spend that much for an education? So I will say this, it doesn't matter. I've worked in institutions where my master's degree was on the same level as someone who got it at Harvard and spent thousands of dollars. I just had a master's. When it comes down to it, no one really cares. Because what I spent on my master's damn sure wasn't close to what that person spent. I went to a state college. I went by state tuition. I paid out of pocket. It cost me far less than my undergrad to go to that institution. And I got a great education from there. It really doesn't matter. Don't spend more money than you could afford on an education for your child. My daughter will go to the local state university unless she kills it and can get awesome scholarships and we've saved up enough to pay cash. But I don't even want her walking out of her college experience with tons of loans. You're paying these loans back for years and it causes so much stress. Now you're starting off with debt. Is that really smart financially now that you've accumulated so much debt? And this is not easy. Look, we're coming to a stage where inflation will happen and college is going to be extremely expensive and people are not going to be able to, afford it. So what we're going to have to do is be super smart for this generation of kids coming up and going to college. We got to be really savvy with our money because Spending a ton on education doesn't make sense anymore. It really doesn't. Your child could get a great education at the local institutions, and even if they have, like, some people are embarrassed for the kid to go to community college and get credits. Well, if that's what they have to do, that's what your child has to do. I'm not of the mind. I come from a family where education was huge. My dad was an educator. Most of my siblings, we all work in education at some point. And, it was all about where you went to school, how expensive your school was, what name recognition it had, and how well you did at that school. It's all about that. But I have friends who did not go to the schools I went to and doing far better than I was financially. It's you got to be smart. And they're not in the amount of debt I was. Okay, they weren't in the amount of debt I was. They were thinking like, okay, I'm not going to spend a ton of money on this education and then not even get the job to pay the money back. I went back to school after still having a significant amount in undergrad debt, accumulated more debt to go back to school, and still wasn't making the money to cover it through the jobs that I had. So what was the point then? When you look at it, you're like, okay, so what was the point? I went to go get this degree to make more money, and yet I'm still back in debt. And I still can't afford to pay them off. Because that mindset that the higher the degree, the more money you're going to make, you got to do a lot. You got to do a lot to make that money to pay it off. Unless you can pay out of pocket completely, or the institution you work for will pay for your education, that might be, a way to help you out. But if you're coming out of pocket, I don't suggest it. And like I said, I already told my daughter, I'm like, listen, you're going to go to school and you're going to go where it makes sense to go. You're going to go where you could get a good education. And you're going to go where you can find a way to do all the things that you'd like to do, where you could gain experience and go to school. So working while you go to school is important. And I'm saying this, I've got a degree from a really prestigious undergrad school. And I'm telling you, I don't think it was worth it unless I got the money to go there. It just wouldn't have been worth it. I would have been sitting here talking to y'all, talk about I'm about to get my wages garnished because I owe so much in student loan debt. That's nuts to me. Why do you have to go through that? That's not being smart with your money. So not everyone may agree with me, and that's fine. But I'm saying let's consider, for our children at least, what would make sense financially and what would make sense in the long run for them. Because I'm saying this as someone who had students dropping out their first term in college, talking about they didn't like the school, and they went and spent thousands of dollars for that one semester, and you don't like the school because you went there because someone told you of the name. Really? You wasted that time and money? Come on. It's not worth it. So, again, this is Elkie of Savvy Moms Unite, where I teach moms how to live a simple, practical, realistic life. You can follow me on Facebook. I have a group called Savvy Moms Unite. I'd love to have you as part of our group. Continue to be savvy and be money smart. That's the way to get through these years. Take care. Bye.